40% of decks out there.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts about this guy for Constructed. He's going to go in the Inspire deck, and you're going to be happy to draw him. He's going to go in the Orc deck. He's going to go in the Mono Red deck. Any deck that plays red and wants to attack is going to be playing for this guy. It's pretty cool that he's common, so, I mean, like, a lot of people are going to want him, and everybody's going to be able to have him. In Limited, as a 2-1 for 2, that's already decent. And then he's got upside that may or may not matter. So, I mean, that's a win in my book.
Again, sweet with flyers. If you have a lot of flyers early on in your draft, I'd pick these guys higher. Because if you play like a 2-1 flyer for 3, now it's a 3-1 flyer, which is a lot better.
Yeah, these dudes are pretty cool. It even would affect token creatures that have the high cost, as Inspire things should. So if you play that champion with that makes the Blaze Elementals, does have a 3 cost. They're now 4-1s.
True. Or like various things that make warbots. The warbots are now bigger.
Pretty useful card.
Next we have Ruby Source. That card is hella good.
This is probably going to take an hour of discussion just on this one card.
I would expect Ruby Source to see play in 100% of Ruby decks.
Most certainly.
It's going to be everywhere.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I think you will see these all the time. And every deck with Ruby definitely has probably a 20 of, maybe down to 10, but definitely no less than that in a Ruby deck.
Yeah.
Even a lot of decks that are only splashing Ruby, I think we're going to see a lot of this card in it.
I think Ruby might be the most commonly played color in Constructed.
Wait, you can have more than 4? What?
Oh, hell. Yeah. You can have as many as you want, Matt.
Okay, so all joking aside, Ruby Source is a land.
It's true.
No lies, guys. It's a land.
Well, it's a land that charges your champion.
It does also charge your champion. It's very important.
All right. So the next card we have is Savage Raider. Savage Raider is a 2-1 for 1 mana. The downside is that he cannot block.
All right, so blocking is irrelevant when you have a 2-1 for 1. This guy is never not sideways. In Constructed, this is exactly where you want the red deck to be with 2 power for 1 mana. He'll be played as a 4 of in every aggressive red deck. In Limited, this guy is okay. He's not great. The fact that he can't block is actually pretty bad, because once they play a 3-3, which they assuredly will do eventually, he basically becomes useless. But I would still draft them if you're in the really aggressive, trying to kill them very fast draft deck. But I'd much rather draft like a 2-2 that can block than a 2-1 that can't.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. The 2-1 for 1 in Limited, it seems cool, but it's not as great as you think. Like, it's just a guy with a drawback. He's cheap, but it's rare that you're going to have him in your opening hand anyways, so he's just going to be a bad guy later on. In Constructed, again, he's going to be just one of the most played aggressive cards. 2 power for 1 cost is exactly what you want in an aggressive deck, and the drawback doesn't actually do anything.
He's even an orc, so he gets benefits from extra rage or speed or whatever else orcs can do. Going in
that's actually a very
relevant creature type.
Yeah, he's a pretty playable, basic little puncher dude. Moving on to the next card, we have Sniper of Gawain. This is a 5 mana casting cost, 2 red threshold 2/2. However, when he enters play, he deals damage equal to his power to target champion or troop.
So when I first saw this guy, I thought he was really bad. A 2/2 for 5 is really pretty weak. But in drafting him, I discovered that actually 2 damage is enough to kill a lot of very important things, and this guy's actually quite good. So he seems really weak, but actually is quite good and limited. He also gets benefits from Inspire, because equal to his power he comes into play, so you can give him plus power with, say, Ruby Pyromancer. He will do 3 damage, or more, or whatever. He also can target players on the off chance that they're at 2. In Constructed, this guy is too expensive for his stats. Even coming into play and dealing 2 damage is pretty weak. If I could guarantee he was a 3/3 every time, then I might play him because like Keldon Champion is a decent Magic card. But as without that guarantee, I don't think I'd play him in Constructed.
Yeah, we've already been over some 5-drops that are pretty sweet. Well, really just Ash Harpy was the sweet one. Constructed wise.
Legionnaire Gawain, or the giant ball lightning guy.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, plenty of 5-drops that are better than this guy in Constructed. Killing a guy is very sweet and limited. He's kind of like, he's got the Vidalcan Dismisser paradox, I guess. Like, you look at him, 5 cost, 2/2, with some ability that doesn't look that great, but it actually turns out that this guy is pretty good. He kills most things, and then you can also attack, and you can attack with like a bunch of your weak guys, and they'll be like, oh, I'll obviously block with my big awesome guy against your weak guy, and you can play this after combat to get them if they block like an idiot. He's okay in limited, but never will see playing Constructed.
Yeah, I tried to play him in an Aspire deck. It didn't work out so great. He just costs too much for what he does. He's basically just a worse Legionnaire of Gawain.
Well, he's like strictly worse than Legionnaire of Gawain, basically. Like, I guess he's not strictly worse because
he doesn't even have pole axes.
No.
Not even one.
Not even one pole axe. Yeah,
and no forks.
I guess he is better when you have no creatures in play with Inspire. I suppose he is a little better than Legionnaire, but even then, Legionnaire is a 4/4, is only a 2/2. I wouldn't play Swiper, but why are you even talking about this? This guy's unplayable. Let's just move on to better guys.
Go ahead and draft him.
Yeah, draft him. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Fine in draft.
All right. Skipping Suppressive Fire. There's no data. The next card, we're on that Inspire subject again. Sword Trainer. 4 mana casting cost, 1 red threshold, human troop, 2/2 for basic stats, and has Inspire for +X, where X is this troop's power.
So this guy is pretty cool in the Inspire deck. He does cost a lot. So he's only really going to inspire basically himself, or possibly, like, say, Legionnaire of Gawain or the other finisher in your deck, the top end of your Inspire chain. But the ability is fairly powerful. +X+O is pretty good. He himself can get inspired by our other guys. His power can be higher than 2. It could easily be 3 or 4 on turn 4, making every successive guy even better. So I think that's pretty important to recognize. In Limited, again, if you have a fair number of 5-drops, I think Sword Trainer is playable. But if your deck is low curve, he's considerably worse.
Yeah, I think he's going to slot into the Constructed Inspire deck just because he has Inspire. Like, his ability is going to be sweet if you put it on anything. Limited, he's all right. Again, like on Evasion guys, he's extra sweet. But he's not like the craziest 4/4. Having 2 toughness kind of sucks for 4 mana because they can attack with anything, and you're never going to want to. You're never going to block anything with this. And if you swing, they're going to be able to kill it with anything.
But you're in the Inspire deck. He might have 3 toughness. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's a pretty important breakpoint. Like, if you look through all of the Inspire guys, I don't know that any of them start with more than 2 toughness.
Yeah, they're weak fighters, and that matters a lot more in Limited.
They have to work together, which is not great for Limited if you can't guarantee getting them. In Constructed, Inspire is a significantly better power on the whole.
His draft pick does go up if you have a Legionnaire, though, just because he says Inspire.
Yep.
Yes, that's true.
I think it would actually go up with Gore Seeker too. If you wanted to play that guy, he's not as good as Legionnaire of Gawain, but +X, where X is at least 2, unless he got debuffed somehow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is sweet.
So moving on, Tatalka Ascended we will skip momentarily because it actually is a transform from Tatalka Orc Gladiator. Tatalka Orc Gladiator is a 5 mana casting cost, 2 red threshold, 4/4, and it has the ability, pay 4 and exhaust it. This troop battles target opposing troop. Then if that troop was dealt fatal damage this way, Tatalka wasn't, she transformed into Tatalka the Ascended. So right off the bat, you've got a 4/4 for 5, which in this format is pretty playable. and it has a sweet ability that lets you assassinate one of their weak little creatures, or even a decent-sized 3/3 type creature, and then you turn into Tatalka the Ascended. Tatalka the Ascended is a 5/5. Still has the cost 5, so, all those inspiry effects. And if a card you control would deal damage, it deals double that much instead.
So Tatalka is basically the red finisher that doesn't want Inspire. So like for the red-green decks instead of red-white decks. I think she's great. She's obviously insane and limited. She's a removal spell for every moderate-sized guy. Only one guy, unfortunately, because she loses her Gladiate ability when she turns into the Ascended, but then suddenly all your guys are doing double damage, and it's really, really great. I would first pick her all day in Limited. And in Constructed, I think she's fine. I'd play her as a finisher in my mid-rangey red X decks.
Yeah, Tatalka's a very powerful card. The ability to pay 4 and tap, while expensive, is very good. You're going to be able to kill a lot of creatures, even in Constructed, just by tapping, and there's a good chance she's going to survive, too. Assuming she survives, you're going to have a 5/5 that doubles all your damage, which is just crazy. That effect has been, it's a desirable effect in Magic, but it's never really been on a card that matters. And this time it's on a 5/5, which hella matters.
Yeah, it's basically a 10/5 at that point, which is obviously fairly ridiculous. And additionally, it makes
and you've already killed something.
And you killed something, and all of your burns and rage fires burn to the ground. This and burn to the ground is really all you need to do. Ascend, Tatalka.
5 mana.
Right, you already have 5 mana, so you're already dealing at least 10 damage with burn to the ground. All right, you're good. That's it. GG.
Something of note about her ability, the front side ability, it's also cool that, say you get to the late game, you're casting this on turn 5, they might actually have, a bigger, badder creature, but it's not, you can still swing in with your weak, cheap guys, and then if they are going to block with their big, awesome creature, then you can finish it off with this. So it's it gives better range to your other guys, too. It's just all kinds of nuts, this card.
Yeah. There's also tricks too, you can pump it up with a pump spell before activating it, and then you can kill even a really big guy like that giant dragon or something. Uranez is a 5/5. You can kill Uranez anyway because your guy got wild growth, and then Tatalka's the Ascended, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card is pretty nuts. When we've been talking about all these 5-drop guys, and this one makes all the other ones. Well, Legionnaire of Gawain still looks playable next to this one, but not great. This is the best 5-drop red that there is, in my opinion.
You're certainly going to have your choice of 5-drops.
Yeah, there's a lot of 5-drops in red.
Ones. Somebody in the chat asked if she's unique. I assume she is. They just didn't have the unique keyword for whatever build of the game that they took the screenshot from.
Yeah, it's almost certainly unique. I mean, with that name, it's got to be unique. And it transforms something else. She's got a name. It's Tatalka Orc Gladiator, not just random Orc Gladiator. So yeah. I am almost 100% sure this is unique, even if it doesn't say it yet.
Though curious on the
say that.
Go ahead.
I would say that probably extends to all the cards that have names like blah blah, Lord of blah blah. Anything that sounds like an individual, probably going to be unique.
Yeah, most of them are labeled as such. But I will be curious, since she transforms, if she is unique in each form individually. If she is unique, you may be able to have a Tatalka Gladiator and an Ascended on the board, because if they're separate cards, you might be able to play 2 different uniques.
Yeah, in Magic, I could see something like that happening, because just the wonkiness of Magic rules sometimes. I would bet that, with the digital control they have in this game, that they're gonna take care of weird oddities like that. No, you can still only have one Tatalka. I would think they'd do it that way.
Probably. So moving on to Unmerciful Tormentor. This is a 1-mana casting cost, 1/1. He's an orc and has the ability, while you have no cards in your hand, this troop gets +3/+3.
So this guy is pretty good and constructed. He's not super spectacular, but it's in the right red deck. You can easily empty your hand by turn 3, and then, or definitely by turn